Let's shift our focus now to the growing concern that we don't actually have a handle on the implications of artificial intelligence in our classrooms. Now, I am a late adopter to AI. I don't understand it. I don't really know how it can help my life, but the young people obviously are going to have it in their classrooms at school. Now, the Productivity Commission's called for a national approach to regulate that technology and make sure that our schools in particularly smaller states and territories don't actually fall behind. Here to walk us through this, education editor at The Australian, Natasha Bita. Natasha, thanks very much for joining us. Should we, as parents, grandparents, be actually concerned about the use of AI and sites like ChatGPT in our schools, and how widespread is this happening already?
Look, it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. The difficulty is turning it off, as I've found. So, you know, kids will be trying to write something in a Word document and Claude or ChatGPT or someone will pop up and say, can I help you with that? I'll write it for you. And I think the issue is that artificial intelligence can do great good, but also great evil. It can be very dangerous for children because it can lead them down into areas, very violent pornography that they're coming across online through these chatbots. It's really important that we do have a national approach and that there are some guardrails so that we know that what is being used in schools is high quality and also safe for kids, so that you're not getting marketing companies sucking out their data so that you know, little Johnny's school test scores follow him into adulthood, or if he's been, you know, done something wrong, written something controversial, that it gets sucked into some sort of AI training algorithm. So it can be really useful in schools. Teachers love it. It saves them so much time. They can write, you know, multiple choice tests. They can think up assignments and lesson plans. That's a great idea for teachers, but we've got to be really careful how kids use it so they learn to use their own brains.
Natasha, I think you've become aware, I read that you've become aware of a school in Melbourne that's actually banned tech completely for the early years. I mean, when we talk early, is this primary and pre-secondary? Is that where you're talking?
Up to year 3, there is a real push for this. Some school principals in primary schools are really keen just to get rid of the tech. You know, we've had a good decade of kids distracted on their smartphones or, you know, hotspotting stuff onto their laptop when they're meant to be, you know, listening to the teacher in class, etc. I think Prue Carr, the Education Minister in New South Wales, was brilliant. She came in 1 week into the job and she just banned smartphones. Bang. Done. Everyone else had been arguing about it for years. She got on and did it. And, you know, the principals are saying how much happier their schoolyards are. The kids are talking to each other. There's less bullying. I mean, it can be... I just don't think this technology should be used unsupervised with kids. Let kids be kids and let them learn lessons themselves. A lot of parents, there's a big backlash now against technology because parents have just had a gutful of their kids glued to screens 24/7, and they don't want them going to school and being glued to screens the whole time either. So you've seen a lot of alternative schools like the Steiner schools for a long time have sort of shied away from that technology in favour of, you know, traditional skills like running riding, which is no longer compulsory in Queensland. Unbelievably. Parents just want their kids to get back to nature. They want their kids to read books that aren't being cancelled on them. They want them to learn and be curious instead of a lot of the woke teaching and a lot of technology that is sort of distracting children from learning and wondering.
You just wonder how far this will go, Natasha, where parents might actually choose to send their children to a school that says, listen, up to year 3 or even maybe longer, and right through school, mobile phones will be put away when the school day starts. I mean, I would put my hand up, I think, to choose a school like that, but then you're going to have pushback from your children, I presume.
Well, I don't know. I think a whole generation, I think most of our viewers probably got through school without being connected on our phones to our parents the whole time. I mean, I think technology has a place. I think how fascinating it would be to learn a lot of the science and the history and geography these days with you know, virtual reality. That would be fascinating, so long as the school is checking that the information is correct, that it's age appropriate, that sort of thing. It'd be just so much more interesting for kids to, you know, perhaps enter ancient Rome using, you know, VR. What I have concerns about is them using chatbots to kind of cheat their way through everything. So instead of learning to write a sentence or write a story, it's just getting a chatbot to do it for you. That's not learning. That's just cheating.
Yeah, just finally, I mean, it worries me what it's doing to our literacy levels. I mean, if you're doing everything on a screen, if you've got you know, auto correction on your spelling, as you say, what are you actually learning?
Now, this is it's interesting to see now schools, a private school in Melbourne, saying we're going to limit our technology. There'll be none at all up to year 3, because a lot of these schools have had the money to do their own research and looking at the fact that often when you take notes by hand, you remember what you've written down a lot better than if you're, say, typing. I see it that kids are going to lose the art of writing and reading, because everything's audio, everything's talk to your bot on your phone and get a response back verbally. But I think it's important that we teach children all of those basics that we had growing up, because I think that enables you to harness technology when you're older and to not be tricked by it, to not be a servant of it.
I agree 100%, Natasha. Thanks for helping out and explaining that for us.